Okay. I think if I remember correctly, let's take a look actually at the transcript, see what was just going on. Yes. I think that's why I saved it right here, was so that we would have the transcript to remind me what I needed to do. We can't leave the music venue yet. We need to talk to Mikan to get the autopsy info from her. I feel like there was something else. Yes, Nagito has gone to the movie theater. Because when Ibuki was found, she had a hemp tote bag over her head. And we saw that as, like, something that you could purchase at the movie theater. I think it was like a one-off. I think there was only one of them. Yeah, so I think Mikan and movie theater, that's the two leads that we have right now. How about it, Mikan? Have you found out anything by now? It's been 5 minutes. Have you had a chance to do a full autopsy of 2 bodies? To tell you the truth, it's been very inconclusive. But it's not my fault. This music venue is just too hot. That was a terrible voice. That was way too, like, anime wackies. That was awful. I apologize. Because of the heat, I can't estimate the time of death. Because of the heat. Is that possible? It would increase decay. Damn, what the fuck happened here? So we saw... We looked at the two-way kind of camera system that we had set up between the hospital and the music venue because there was an illness going on. So we had some people at the hospital because they were ill or attending to the people who were ill and everyone else at the hotel. But the range wasn't long enough. I'm sorry, the motel. The range wasn't far enough, so they had to set up the other camera here at the music venue. So we tuned in for our regularly scheduled check-in and saw someone with like a tote bag over their head hang themselves, basically. We rushed over here and we saw the hanging body. We didn't even try to get it down by ourselves. We ran over to the motel to try to get help. By the time that we came back, not only was there the hanging body, but there was also Hiyoko dead, duct taped to a pillar. So there was a lot. Like in like the 5 to 10 minutes between like when we ran over to the motel and back here, like Hiyoko's body was put up there. And I personally think that there's at least 2 killers in this one, because there is literally no way that you would be able to duct tape a body around a pillar by yourself. Someone would need to hold the body up and someone would need to run around and tape it. It's still sus though, decay fastens, but you can still calculate it since the temperature is part of the equation. Yeah, but would a nurse that's still in high school be able to do that with no equipment? That to me is the bigger issue. I don't know how she's getting any info, honestly. If a body is overexposed to heat or cold, you won't be able to determine a precise time of death. I see. That might have been the killer's goal. They covered up their time of death by using the heater to make the inside of the music venue hot. But that's weird. Even if this heat is the killer's doing, is there any reason for them to cover up the time of death? Yes. I would say that there's reason for them to cover up the time of death. They are trying to trick everyone so that way they can live. Do you understand the concept of what's going on, Mikan? I also firmly believe that I believe that we didn't actually see Ibuki hang herself. Because it was broadcast over a video system, and really the only thing we saw was a curtain in the background and a candle, and it was candlelit. It was very dark. So the only reason why we think it was here was because there was a black curtain in the background, and this is where the video system was. I personally think that Ibuki might be one of the killers, I think that the footage we saw was filmed elsewhere and played in front of the camera for us. It doesn't really help why we saw her hanging when we came in here, but it could have been fake. It could have, like, you know, where she was held up by something else that we couldn't see. I think it's just very suspicious that... I think everything's suspicious. I agree. As long as I saw it, it should be clear what order the murders occurred. And see, like, the fact that we're making that assumption, that's why I feel like Ibuki possibly actually died second. First was Ibuki and then Hiyoko. And as long as this is an imitation murder, there shouldn't be any mistaking the orders of them, or the order of the murders. Huh? Imitation murder? Hmm? You don't know, Hajime? I thought everyone already knew. It's a murder where the killer uses a creative work, like a song or a film, as an outline for their killings. It's so common in detective novels, manga, and video games that you can start to get annoyed by it. How would an imitation murder be related to this murder? Oh, wait. If Hajime isn't getting the reference, I'm also not getting the reference. Well, based on the killing order and the way that they were killed, it's clearly an imitation of that movie. That movie? Is it the one in the movie theater that Monokuma made? The assumption is an imitation murder is the reason why the killer killed 2 people. The goal was an imitation killer. Even so, why did we feel the need to do something like that? Excuse me? If this was really an imitation of that movie, then is it possible that one more person might have been killed? It's certainly conceivable, if the killer wishes to complete the imitation. Hold on a sec. What are you all talking about? An imitation murder. One more person might have been killed. Are you guys worried that there's gonna be another victim? Then no worries. Things would get out of hand too fast if a bunch of people could be killed at once. I'm a real cautious fella, so I've prepared a perfect countermeasure. Ahem. On this killing school trip, the same blackened can only kill a maximum of 2 people. Like, I don't think that that's actually in the rules yet, so... We don't want the truth bullets, we want the regulations. Okay, maybe it already was in there. Either that or they've put it in and I just got here too late. The same blackened can only kill a maximum of 2 people. But as I mentioned, if there are 2 different blackened working together right now, you know, then there could be more, or even not necessarily working together. But if these murders were committed by 2 different people, then there could still conceivably be a 3rd victim. I mean, that would be dumb. Why mess with the heat in the room to hide when it happened and who died first? If you go for an imitation murder where people die one after another, we still know who died first. Why leave those clues behind? From this, we as the MC are already cleared of all suspicion. I mean, yeah, it's... We don't have a lot of info about this one yet. We don't even know what they're imitating yet. You mean you've added another rule? Well, if killing everyone at once is okay, the blackened would be able to secure an easy victory, right? I mean, it would be very interesting to have that aspect in the death game. It definitely puts the pressure on you to solve the murders quickly. You could still have that, like, you know, half an hour or however long after the first body is discovered, then it goes into the class trial mode. There's ways to mitigate the impact and have an interesting race to the finish. It's like how in the game Carmageddon, you can either actually finish the car race, or you can just smash all the other drivers and kill them all, and still win.
This new rule will prevent that. Make sure you slam it into your tiny brains.
If it is a maximum of 2 people, then there will not be any more killings? Since you're here anyway, can I ask you one more thing? You know, I just want to confirm one of the class trial rules.
I see. As expected of you, you're very strict about games.
It's, Monokuma, you apparently have not met any speedrunners, right? I mean, having the ultimate gamer in here would be amusing if they were like a let's fucking break everything and speedrun through it sort of gamer. I don't want to even consider this possibility at all, and I don't even want to think that someone would do this. If 2 cases occur at once, what happens if there are 2 killers? So this should answer a lot of the supposition that I had. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but my mind just goes always thinking why and what and how. I mostly go for deep thought for absolutely no reason. I mean, it's not no reason. It's fun, right? It's fun trying to figure it out ahead of time. Like I said, I'm talking about the possibility that Ibuki and Hiyoko were killed by 2 different people. That would mean that 2 killers exist at the same time, but we can only vote for 1 person, right? If we can only choose one based on a majority vote, the other person could certainly achieve victory.
Yeah, you're right.
So what happens in that case? What about a case where there's 3 incidents instead of 2? Or 4 incidents overlap one another?
Shut up!
It's okay. I'll make sure something like that never happens. So can you confirm that it didn't happen already? That's not this case? Meaning 2 killers can't exist at the same time. So it's safe to say that that applies to this case too, right? Chiaki, I love you for nailing this sort of shit down. This is the sort of thing. This is me in a meeting where I'm like, no, nobody can leave until we figure this shit out. I am not running off and starting this project with only half the information. Give me the details.
All right, fine. That's right, there's always 1 killer at any given time. Even if they had an accomplice, I'd have you figure out who the mastermind is. Man, I ended up giving you a huge hint. She made me say it. Gamer brains are not to be underestimated. I should just shut up and go back to my cave.
Yeah, you do that, Monokuma. I see. So there's no possibility for 2 killers to exist at the same time. With this, I guess that narrows things down a little. Yep, that makes things a little easier. No, plus, if the same killer can kill a maximum of 2 people, it means a 3rd victim would be impossible. Imitation murder breakthrough. You guys keep saying that and it sounds strange to me. What do you guys mean by imitation? Could it be you haven't seen it? Seen it? Seriously, seen what? Like I said, that movie. When we first explored this island, Monokuma was passing out invitation tickets. Then the imitation is... Of course, it's an imitation of that movie. Well, based on the murders this time, it closely resembles that movie, as if they were copying it. When you realize there can only be 1 killer per case, and Hifumi and Celeste both killed in the last game in the same case, talk about flexibility from Monokuma. I mean, we've seen him edit and change the rules as well, so it could be that like it wasn't locked in quite as strictly in the previous game. You know, you still could make the argument that if Ibuki was one of the murderers, there aren't 2 murderers right now, that like one of them died. So I feel like there's still wiggle room to confuse us. Scooch, scooch, scooch. Okay. He just wants to make it fair for both parties. True, true. As if they copied the movie. I see. Nagito mentioned something about that. And then it can't be helped. I guess I'll just rely on my gut feelings. Gut feelings? You should come by later too. I'll go there first and wait for you. Where exactly are you talking about? Yeah, use a proper noun, you numpties. Couldn't possibly, right? Well, obviously, the movie theater. I see. So you haven't seen it. Still, it's not too late, I think. It's probably a good idea if you watch that movie before the class trial starts. And I'll wait for it to come to a streaming service, thanks. Looks like I need to do that. Then I should get going too. There are other places I want to investigate. Where do you intend to go next, Chiaki? Yeah, give us a list of places to go after this. Probably the hospital for sure. The first victim, Ibuki, was there. I don't know what was going on at the hospital in the first place. And thanks to that despair disease, we could not go there for some time. She's right. It might be good for me to investigate the hospital too. There might be some clues related to Ibuki's death. For clues related to Hyoko's death, I should try going over to the motel. There's still a lot of things I can do before the class trial. I'll definitely give it my all until the end. Worth talking to the people here again? We'll see. No, this is all the same. And then Akane is staying to guard the crime scene, I believe. Just a little bit more time and I'll be back to my old self. This ain't like me at all. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the movie theater first. Okay, third island. Suppose we should check our pet and see if it needs cleaning. It's like, I'm sorry, murder investigation. I must see if the snake has pooped. It has not. We're fine. You have like 3 buckets? Jesus. So we want movie theater. There we go. Why, hello there, Hajime. I knew you'd come here. That means you noticed it too, right? The case this time is an imitation case, which the killer used that movie as their theme. I wouldn't know. I haven't watched that movie yet. Spoilers, God. I see. Then you really should watch this movie first. Hey, manager! A customer's here. Yes? Did you call me? Huh? Hajime is the customer. Do you have a problem with that? We did promise to pay an extreme sum of money so we wouldn't have to watch this movie, and now we have to watch it anyway. And you said you didn't want to watch it, but I knew you wanted to see it all along. If that's what Tsundere Hajime looks like, then you're a really tough guy. You were so dedicated or devoted to being tsundere that you even bought the Monokuma sticker for $1.5 million. What? You paid $1.5 million for a sticker. It's nothing. In exchange for not watching this movie, Hajime paid $1.5 million for a Monokuma sticker. I mean, admittedly, if we don't make it off the island alive, we don't have to pay, right? Come on, since we're talking about it anyway, why don't you show it to Nagito? Stop it. But my resistance was in vain, and Monokuma reached into my pocket and took out the sticker. Yo, keep your hands to yourself, Monokuma. See? It's this one. I'm sorry I was born stupid. You bought this for $1.5 million? But in the end, he's still gonna watch the movie. Who cares about this anymore? Just hurry up and give me an invitation ticket. Okay, here you go.
It already says so on the invitation ticket, but it's only effective today at this time. By the way, I can only give away 1 ticket per person. You only have 1 chance to watch it for free.
So are we gonna find, like, a ticket that is dated and timed that someone else watched? Like, is it gonna be important to find out when like, what time the killer watched this movie at?
I've already stamped today's date onto the ticket, so you won't be able to cheat.
Let's go to ad jail. Don't worry, I only plan to watch it once.
And then I'll go prepare the projection reel. Please wait a bit, okay?
Ah, Hajime. About that invitation ticket, I strongly recommend that you keep that safe. Nagito knows what's up. Huh? Why? No reason. Just think of it as a protective charm. Yeah, our movie's invitation ticket has been added to the truth bullets. I guess I should just wait until Monokuma finishes his preparations. No, we are going to investigate, because I have a feeling it is very important that we look here. That reminds me, that item should be on top of the counter. This one looks like a tote bag made out of hemp cloth with a decal of Monomi's face on it.
Ah, did that catch your eye? It's an all-purpose tote bag useful for a variety of common tasks. It's a limited item. Only 1 person can have it.
If the tote bag is gone, then that means...
Whoa there. Were you interested in buying that tote bag? Well, that's just too bad. It's already sold out.
Who'd you sell it to?
Stupid. There's no way I'd fall for that. There's no way I'd say something that'd reveal who the killer is.
So it is interesting that the killer purchased it and not necessarily Ibuki as the victim sort of thing, where, you know, just anybody had it. The killer specifically is the one who purchased it. So the killer bought it? I remember you saying that there's only 1 because it's a limited item, right? Like, Monokuma, you're really bad at this.
It's not limited to 1. It's more like it's limited to 1 person.
What's the difference?
When you buy 1 bag, you get another one free. It's a common practice to bait customers with bonus prizes.
For some reason, hearing you say that pisses me off. Monokuma's account has been added.
Now then, I should forget that I carelessly made a slip of the tongue. It looks like the preparations are complete, so please enter the theater right away. This is exciting. Exciting!
He's like me playing Blueprints. He's just jazzed. Completely jazzed. I don't think that we necessarily need to, like, look at the popcorn or anything. I'm upset that you only got 1 sticker. Right? We paid so much money and we only got 1 sticker. Honestly, like, I am a person who doesn't buy stickers very often for 2 reasons. 1, artist stickers tend to be expensive. Like, I find that they're often selling for like $4 to $10 now for like a single, admittedly large, but a single sticker. And 2, big surprise, Ghost Body's gonna make fun of me. I'm a person who I don't want to use stickers because then they're used up. You know, like you put it on something and it's there forever. And you better hope that you like the placement or that you're gonna keep using the thing that you put it on. I got started getting around that by if I buy stickers, I always buy a duplicate. So that way I have 1 to stick on something and 1 that I can like pin up on a board or something and not actually use the sticky backing. So it's not wasted if the thing it's on breaks or something. Also, welcome in, Schwenkman. How are you doing today? Okay. Let's go into the theater. That was unpleasant.
I apologize for keeping you waiting. World-famous director Monokuma presents a stunning masterpiece that reduced American audiences to tears. The Wizard of Monomi 2.5D will be screening shortly. From the title alone, I have a bad feeling about this. 2.5D, that sounds so half-assed. Now then, please relax and enjoy the film. Monokuma was born in a remote village full of old people because the death rates outpaced the birth rates. One day, Monokuma was swept up by a tornado created by a helicopter gunship during a routine military exercise. And was whisked away to Monomi's country. Monokuma wanted to return to his homeland so he could go back to pestering the old people for change. So when he began his journey to see the wizard, Monomi, who was rumored to grant any wish one desires. Boo! Put on Shrek already! Yes. Along the way, he met a very loyal group of friends. Monokuma met a Monomi scarecrow who was missing a brain. When he recommended that she... this is one of those things where I'm like, do I say this? And if I ever get monetized on YouTube, this is going to be a problem. When he recommended that she commit suicide, the Monomi scarecrow hanged herself and died. He also met a Monomi lion who was missing her courage, so he pumped her full of arrows. He also met a Monomi tin man that was missing a heart, so Monomi sliced her into lumps of iron. After a lot of other stuff happened, Monokuma finally reached the Wizard Monomi, the great and powerful. Eventually, one thing led to another, and he started beating the crap out of Monomi. And in the end, he somehow usurped the kingdom from her. With this, Monokuma enslaved the old people, took their pensions, and lived the rest of his days in luxury. And he lived happily ever after. The end. Yeah. My popcorn is untouched. My eyelids are falling shut. Yeah. Not the best movie I've ever seen. Yeah, so I see why they're saying it's an imitation killing. Because especially, even though it was arrows, the Cowardly Lion one was like duct taped or tied up to the tree like that. We paid $1.5 million for this. I would say, good deal. I would disagree, but yay, it's over. Man, movies are the best.
That drama was so moving that I needed 2 boxes of tissues, one for each head. Ugh. Now then, let's meet again at the class trial. Goodbye. Bye. Bye. Not the worst Wizard of Oz parody I've ever seen. That scares me. I'm too disgusted to let even out a sigh right now. That's all I can say to describe the situation. How was it? Actually, I don't even have to ask. I totally expected your reaction. That was honestly the worst movie I've ever seen. Is it even okay to call that a movie? But thanks to that movie, now you know, right? Yeah. Just like he said, the characters who were killed in the movie match the victims in this case. Ibuki's death by hanging matched the Scarecrow's death in the movie. Not just that, but Hyoko's suspended body matches the lion's death, too. It would have been a complete imitation if the killer killed 3 people, but it seems that wasn't possible. How much you want to bet that whoever the Blackened is here, when they're executed, it's going to match the 3rd one. So it's going to kind of tie it all together like that. Perhaps the killer is upset about that right now? Or... if the killer's main goal was just an imitation murder, then they should be upset about it, but... I'm not sure if that's even true. The Wizard of Monomi has been added to the Truth Bullet section. Okay, I don't think that there's anything else in here that we need to... We'll talk to Nagito just to see if there's anything. Yeah, no. It's just what we saw. Okay. So if there's anything else important in here, it should stop us from leaving. But there isn't, so it didn't. Okay, so next we'll do the hospital, and then last we'll do the hotel. Actually, I think the hospital's this way. There we go. Kazuichi, I'm surprised you're here. Hey, you prepared that surveillance camera unit, right?
Oi.
Yeah, so? I didn't make any weird modifications or anything. It's not like I'm suspicious or anything. God, Kazuichi, it was a fucking question. Chill out. Didn't you get this from that shady-looking alley where all those machines were lined up? Yeah, I just tweaked it a little. Then, if there are other surveillance camera units, would it be possible to transmit a signal to the hospital from those cameras, too? Oh, no, that's impossible. Originally, surveillance cameras and surveillance monitors are only used as part of the same unit. The video that was filmed with the hospital camera can only be viewed on the hospital monitor. And the video that was filmed with the music venue camera can only be seen on the music venue monitor. But if I left it like that, we wouldn't have been able to communicate, so I decided to swap the cameras. So that's how you guys were able to view the hospital footage from the music venue and vice versa. However, each surveillance camera unit manages its broadcast based on a specific number. So even if you bring the same model camera or monitor, you won't be able to interfere with the signal. Meaning, even if another surveillance camera exists, it'd be impossible to broadcast with it. However, I didn't just swap the cameras. I modified them and increased the wireless range. If I hadn't done that, we wouldn't have been able to use it. You're right, you did work on that. I feel like I haven't been here in a while, even though it's really only been a few days. Wait, was there handprints all over the windows before? I'm guessing that, like, there's not gonna be anything out here. It probably still won't hurt to take a look at the surveillance camera unit on top of the reception desk. As long as the music venue's surveillance camera unit is destroyed, it's impossible to broadcast with this. Hey, Hajime, there's something I wanted to ask you. You first discovered Ibuki's body at the music venue, right? But why did you go to the music venue? You had a reason for that, right? Did you see something with this camera? That's right, everything has been so hectic, we haven't even fucking told people really what happened. Oh, I also wanted to ask you that. It'd be different if the surveillance camera unit could record, but it's only good for household functions. Tell me, Hajime. Yeah, that's exactly it. I saw a strange video in that surveillance camera unit. It showed the music venue stage. There's a black curtain hanging like there is now, but the whole display was pretty dark because they were just using candlelight. There was a rope hanging from the ceiling, and beneath that, there was a stepladder on the floor. And right away, a person wearing a hospital gown and hemp bag on their head appeared. I didn't know who it was because their face was covered, but I know now that it must have been Ibuki. She walked straight to the stepladder and without any hesitation, she climbed that stepladder of her own free will, and then she grabbed the rope, and that's all I saw. The candlelight must have being used must have been snuffed out or something, because the screen went dark all of a sudden, and it wasn't displaying anything anymore. Well, if the candlelight goes out, obviously nothing will show up. Modern surveillance cameras have infrared functions, so things can still show up even in the dark. But the one I got from the machine alley was a really old model. No, hold on. At the time, you said you didn't know the person wearing the hemp bag was Ibuki, right? Yeah. You didn't know it was her, but you saw she was trying to hang herself, so you rushed over to the music venue to try to stop her. But I didn't make it in time. Still, if she climbed the stepladder on her own, does that mean that she committed suicide? Wouldn't that mean that she's her own killer? Ibuki committed suicide? What do you think, Chiaki? There's no doubt that Ibuki climbed the stepladder on her own, right? Yeah, there's no doubt. If so... Hey, don't think about it don't think for so long. If you don't know, just be honest about it. Well, of course she doesn't. There's no way we'd be able to figure it out that easily. Oh yeah, I need to investigate the conference room on the second floor. I'm heading over there now. What the heck? She ran away all of a sudden. She said the conference room, but why would she mention the conference room all of a sudden? Also, I might just be overthinking, but... Did she seem a little upset? If I remember correctly, I believe the conference room had blackout curtains. Iconic. Why are you here? Aren't you supposed to be protecting the crime scene at the music venue? I'm finally getting back to my normal self. Hey, Hajime, help me out with my recovery. What? Ugh. No thanks. She was bearable when she was quiet. It'd be so much better if she was still feeling the after effects. She'd beat me up if I said that out loud. Yeah, pass. Anyway, why are you here? Well, I've never been sick or hurt before, so I had no idea, but hospital gowns are pretty comfy. I was thinking I might as well keep wearing one. Don't tell me you plan to wear hospital gowns from now on. It just goes to show you hospital gowns must be better quality in Japan, because here they're like a piece of fucking tissue paper. It looks like there was one gown for each patient's room, so I thought that there'd be more in the empty rooms. There weren't any gowns? I mean, admittedly, there were no empty rooms. We had somebody in each one of those rooms. Yeah, Akane has never been particularly concerned with modesty. Very true, very true. Yep, that's right. Ibuki died wearing one, so the only one left is the one Nagito was wearing. If I have no choice, then I should just use Nagito's. It's a unisex size, so I'll probably be able to fit in it. Hold on, what happened to the gown that you were wearing? Are you saying I should wear the one I already wore? It's gross, just launder it! Why is that gross? You're being weird. Wearing clothes that someone else was wearing is even grosser. No time to dilly-dally. I totally left Mikan back at the music venue. Crap, I gotta get back there soon. Well, it's okay since I already investigated the music venue, but leaving her on guard duty was a bad idea. Okay, so this was Ibuki's room. Will we be able to do anything there? Looks like this is an open room. There shouldn't be anybody inside. Interesting. They won't let us check the room. We still also have no idea where the fuck Nekomaru is. He was taken away in a like an ambulance, and I expected him to come to the hospital, but he didn't. Interesting. Plot twist, Nekomaru did it. You know, after being exploded. Yeah, it's the conference room. Anything we can do with the staff room? Interesting. It'll allow us to go in here. So... Just doing a quick check in here to see if there's anything. No, it looks like there's no point for this room. What's this? It's pitch black. I can't see anything. Where's the switch? Don't turn it on. Huh? It's Chiaki. Are you there? I mean, we saw her run off and she wasn't anywhere else, so it makes sense. Like, we're surprised. If you turn on the light, it's going to be fully exposed. It would be embarrassing. Why did they make everything fucking sexual in this game? What's fully exposed? Hey, Hajime. If you poke out your eyes, you can turn on the light. Yeah, Mekamaru, exactly. Wait a second, isn't that the name of a character in Jujutsu Kaisen? I don't remember that character's name offhand. On the one hand, because teens are, or to be fair, teens are horny, but written by adults, yeah. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna poke them out? I'm not gonna poke out my eyes. Oh, bummer. What the fucking... Oh, troll fail. Okay. No sooner did she finish... It's like some of the shittiest trolling I've ever seen. No sooner did she finish saying that than I heard the dry sound of curtains being drawn. There was a flash of intense light that stung my eyes a little. I squinted my eyes until they started adjusting to the light. Yeah, this is absolutely where that video was taken. The blackout curtains, the wooden floor. This is where the video where we saw Ibuki climbing the stepladder was. And I saw Chiaki had finished opening the curtain that was covering the window. Were you surprised? Surprised? I don't get it. I got it. Got what? The curtains in this conference room are designed to completely block out light. There's a projector in here, so they were probably careful about light shining through. See? A black curtain that blocks light and is also long enough to reach the floor. It's perfect. A black light-blocking curtain. That's why it was so dark. So, is something wrong with it? I'm still in the middle of investigating, so it's a secret. Yeah, she's upset. But still, what was that all about? That bit about it being embarrassing if I look and troll fail? Just wanted to mess with you. Yeah, she's definitely upset. Why is she acting so childish? I don't know, maybe because she is a literal child? You're all children. I guess I'm done investigating the hospital. I should move on to a different space. Really? No truth bullet going in here? I know this is where it was filmed. Yawn. Okay, so next is the motel. So that way we can find more information about Hiyoko. I am going to check the pet again. We're still good. I just remembered, I never went inside any of the rooms in the motel. As much as I tried to, but the game wouldn't let me. And plus, I don't even know where Hiyoko's room is. It might be faster just to ask someone. Just got the two of them there. Hiyoko is central, but Gundam is in the front, so which one is the wrong one to talk? I guess we'll talk to Gundam. You're here, right? Come on out. Huh? Are you talking to me? I can see you. Did you really think you could hide your presence like that? I wasn't trying to hide in the first place. Hey, which room was Hiyoko staying in? Open the door to the center room. However, are you prepared? Make sure you pray to whatever god you hold dear, and you might want to bring an extra pair of underwear. I wonder, how does this guy talk to his parents and teachers? Hey, Fuyuhiko, are you ready to be the most normal guy in this game? Hey, Hajime, can you explain it to me again? What happened when you first discovered Ibuki's body? It was the same as when I found it with you guys. Ibuki's body was hanging from the baton lighting. However, there was no body discovery announcement made. That's why I went to get you guys. Yeah, because you're one person, Hajime. You needed to get somebody else to see it. I met up with Chiaki at this motel, and we were about to go back to the music venue. You met up with Mikan and me. And when we went back to the music venue, the entrance door wouldn't open for some reason. So we had no choice but to break down the door and discover Hiyoko's body was suddenly there too. Yeah, that's what happened. This is the most important part. When you arrived at the motel, who else saw you besides Chiaki? Monomi? I remember Monomi was there, as I recall. Didn't you hear me? A body was found. Body? Could it be? Do you intend to spread lies like Nagito in order to confuse us all? Besides Chiaki, I also saw Gundam and Monomi. I see. So Kazuichi and Sonya didn't appear, huh? Do you think that those two are suspicious? Well, Hiyoko was killed between the time that you saw Ibuki's body and when we broke down the door, right? Admittedly, there's very little blood at the scene, and they mention the fact that it likely is because of the way that she was tied up. She died from a wound to her neck, but she had a piece of duct tape like around her neck holding her to the pillar. So it could be that they said that, like, oh, the duct tape stopped some of the blood from coming out. But on the other hand, it could also be that she bled out elsewhere, and that's why there's so little blood there. Especially the fact that her kimono was not put on by her. 1000% her kimono was not put on by her because the bow is in the front. Which, again, for people who aren't super familiar with Japanese culture, no one would ever wear any sort of bow or sash on their kimono, yukata, any sort of robe tied in the front. Because A, it's a thing with like the funeral services that like dead people would have it tied in the front. And B, especially with a fancy kimono like that, it is more like an association with prostitution. Because oiran and like other prostitutes basically can't be like bothered to tie in the back constantly when it's such a pain in the ass, so they would tie it in the front instead. So the fact that her kimono is tied in the front is a big indication that somebody else tied it and not her. So I feel like it's possible that she could have bled out because she was not in her kimono. We don't have to worry about the fact that that's not bloody. Her kimono was put on her afterwards. So obviously those two are the most suspicious since they weren't with us. That might be it, but while we're at it, let me tell you my alibi too. When the morning Monokuma announcement woke me up, I went straight to the hospital. I saw Mikan panicking in front of the hospital. I asked her what was going on, and she said Ibuki disappeared. So you guys split up and looked for Ibuki, huh? While we were circling the island, we came to the motel and saw you guys there. Did you see anyone else while you circled the island?
Yeah.
No, we went to the movie theater in that street full of machines to look for Ibuki, but we didn't see anyone. Are you implying I don't have an alibi because I didn't run into anyone? It's unreasonable for you to doubt me. The time that Mikan and I were on our own looking for Ibuki wasn't very long. In that short time, there's no way I could have killed Hiyoko and wrapped her around the pillar with duct tape. It's true. I feel like there just wasn't enough time to do that after I left the music venue. But the fact that Hiyoko was killed and we did discover her body...
Huh?
What? Do you still doubt me? Or she couldn't tie her kimono anymore since Mahiru taught her, and probably why she wouldn't be without her kimono. Yeah, there is a certain insinuation that maybe, like, she's able to tie it by herself now because Mahiru taught her that. We haven't had anybody call her Stinky since Mahiru died, so I'm assuming that she's, like, undoing it and bathing.
Takuyo.
Well, I'm used to it. It's true I've done things that I deserve to be doubted for. So don't worry. Even if you doubt me, I don't plan on dismembering you and encasing you in concrete. Thank you, that's kind of you, Fuyuhiko. I'd want to know in advance what I'd have to do to end up like that. Fuyuhiko's account has been added to the Truth Bullets section of the handbook. Not this week, at least, yeah. It's really bothering me that the sign is, like, it's mirrored. Okay, so we can finally actually look at the hotel now. Looks like it's locked, but the key was inside her kimono. Maybe if I use this. It opened. Just as I thought, this key was Hiyoko's room key. Alright, I should go inside. Just as I suspect, this feels like straight out of Supernatural. Like this motel room comes up and then suddenly I hear Carry On My Wayward Son playing. So Hiyoko was staying here. She only stayed a few nights, so it doesn't really feel like her room, but I feel a little conflicted. What's Sonia doing in here? Also, that's a little funny that they used the concrete shoes example when that's more of a Western thing. Yeah, it's definitely a localization. Huh? Did the door open? Yeah, Hiyoko put the key in her kimono, so I used that to open it. I see. What? Did something happen? No, it's just... I'm starting to believe it might be my fault. Her fault? What does she mean? Okay, do we... Aha! There is the final Monokuma doll. So it does mean that, like, the hidden Monokuma, as they appear on the rack in my room, they're not necessarily appearing in order. I thought I had missed one, but we did not have access to this room up until now. So I do not need to stress about that. Anything else in here? Which is words on stream time, which I know several of you will be happy about. I feel like this time it's better to talk to, like, the things in the room before talking to Sonia. Oh, no, damn it. Oh, I was trying to talk to the sink there. The moment Hiyoko came to this motel, she completely shut herself in this room. She was afraid of the despair disease, so she was cautious of you. She was cautious of you guys too, right? It wasn't the wrong button. It was the wrong selection. It was the right button. How dare you sass me like this? Completely unacceptable that you would sass me like this first thing in the morning. Close enough, yeah. However, her fear of the disease was not the only reason she locked herself in her room. She had another reason. Besides the disease, what other reason would make her lock herself in her room? Her kimono. Her kimono. Yesterday, I went to talk to her. Since she had been in her room for some time, I told her it might be good for her to go outside a bit. She kept the door to her room locked, but by coincidence, it was not locked at that time. And then, I saw it. Okay, so that is the thing. Hiyoko was crying and struggling with her kimono sash. She did not want to smell bad, so she took a shower, but then she could not tie her sash anymore. Just also, before you shower, go to the goddamn like supermarket and buy something else to wear. Like, if this is an issue, wear something else than the kimono, okay? Mahiru is no longer with us, so I believe she was having trouble with it. She didn't leave her room because she couldn't tie her kimono, huh? The others might have thought it was just a silly sash, but it must have been a serious issue for her. Hiyoko told me that she learned how to tie her sash from Mahiru. That Mahiru kindly taught her the basics. That is why she wanted to be able to tie her sash on her own. She probably could not forgive herself for not being able to do it, especially since Mahiru taught her. I could not really understand her feelings, which is why I said what I did. What did you say? Hiyoko? By any chance, are you having trouble wearing your kimono? Stupid? What are you saying? Of course I can do it. Because Mahiru taught me. That's why I can do it on my own. If that's the case, how about you do it someplace where there is a mirror? Interesting. They have called out that there is a full-body mirror in the storeroom at the music venue. Yeah. Do you remember the full-length mirror in the storage room at the music venue? I do. I just mentioned it. If you do it while standing in front of a large mirror, I am confident that you will be successful. Also, shutting yourself in your room like this may be bad for your health. You shush. Outside is terrible. Maybe I just want to hang out inside, okay? And that was when she kicked me out. Could it be that Hiyoko remembered that? Are you saying that she went to the music venue to wear her kimono? I can see that happening. I can't, honestly. If your kimono is flapping open and you can't get it done, like, it's one thing to, like, sneak to somewhere nearby in order to have a little bit of help or something, but I don't know if you'd want to go all the way to the music venue with it open. Outside, yeah, outside are where people are, exactly. I'm an indoor ghost, like an indoor cat, right? 100% she walked in on the killer. Why else would this be relevant? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. It feels like, you know, a murder of opportunity. Hiyoko locked her room and made sure she put the room key inside her kimono. I can't imagine that she was abducted by someone. If so, that's weird. Hey, did you tell anyone about that before the incident? Or was someone listening in on your conversation? I never told this to anyone, and I do not believe anyone was listening in on our conversation. Nobody knew. If that's the case, how did the killer know that Hiyoko was going to the music venue? Something's wrong. Okay, Sonia's account has been added. Now we can actually talk to the sink. Hello, sink. How are you today? There's a mirror, but it's so small and rusty. There's no way anyone can use this. I don't see anything else that looks suspicious. And there's no sign that someone made a mess of her room, and I don't think that she was forcefully abducted. I feel like I couldn't really find any important clue. Oh well. Oh shit! Okay, I did not expect that. Didn't even get a chance to look at the bed.
Yahoo! Genki shite ta? Monokuma da yo. Ii kanji.
Hello! How's everybody doing? It's me, Monokuma. Yay! Awesome!
学級裁判が始まるんだよ。
The class trial's gonna start, you know.
だからまたモノクマロックの前までなるはやで集まってね。
So, make sure you guys come to Monokuma Rock ASAP.
ぷぷぷぷ。じゃあまた後でね。
I'll see you soon.
They really give no time in doing investigations in this game. Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit more streamlined than the first game, where they're really telling you, like, go look here. And when you go and look, if you don't find what you need and you try to leave, they're like, nope, there's still something here. And then they just kind of, like, cut you off when you've got all the information you need. So in some ways, it's better than the first one because there's no walking around going like, what's the one thing I haven't talked to that apparently is important because the class trial isn't starting. But on the other hand, it definitely feels a little bit more on rails than the first game. It's already time. So, this again. I need to go to that place again. But now's not the time to be a coward. The reason Ibuki and Hiyoko became victims, in order to find the truth, the only thing I can do is go. Let's take a look at the map to see if there's anybody anywhere that we should talk to. Not seeing anybody on the central island. No, it doesn't look like there's any point in going anywhere else. No. The bottom line is almost gone for the students. Oh, you're right. There's just Mikan left there. It really has been, like... Other than Byakuya, who, like I said, I was kind of surprised that he died early because, you know, of his involvement in the first game. I felt like there would be more of a redemption arc, or it would be more important to have somebody who was there in the first game. It's been only women that have died in the game. Oh, Teruteru and Byakuya, obviously. But there's just been, it's been very unbalanced in that way. Which makes me kind of feel that, like, maybe the murderer this time is a guy. You know, thinking, like, kind of metagamey sort of thing with keeping the numbers balanced as the game progresses. Oh, wait, I don't want to go to jail. This is the wrong spot. There. Yeah, only 4 women left. Everyone who heard the announcement had gathered in front of Monokuma Rock. Yeah, compare that to 6 guys, yeah. And soon enough, the ad...
Is everybody here? You guys want to go to the class trial? Hey, Jerk, hold it right there. What? Don't get in my way. You're just a dumb little sister who's short a few brain cells. My brain works just fine. Monokuma, what did you do with Nekomaru? Thank you for asking. I have been wondering. I see. So you've come to avenge him. Avenge? That sounds like he died. Sounds like you say. Oops. Anyway, since Nekomaru is unfortunately unavailable today, let's just say he's absent. So did he really fucking die? Like, this is unclear. Now then, I gotta go first. Hold on, I won't let you escape. Hey, did you hear what he said?
Huh?
Don't worry about it. There's no way Nekomaru is dead. He's just trying to piss us off. Of course he's not dead. There's no way, not in a million years. More importantly, it's best if we worry about ourselves for now. If something happens here, every one of us except Nekomaru will die. Why are you so excited about that? Who knows? Maybe I'm just looking forward to seeing poetic justice prevail. What are you saying, fiend? You'll find out soon enough. Then, let's go. Alright, let's hurry up and get this over with. Yeah, Nagito, zip it. I don't really have any suspicions over who the murderer is in this one. Like I said, it feels like a lot of people are cleared right now just based off of where they were when this happened. But like I said, I feel that the murder did not actually happen at the venue, or at least like Ibuki climbing that ladder. Like I said, I have suspicions about the order in which things happened and the locations in which things happened. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Yeah, you're right. Okay, talk to everyone. Just as I thought, this particular incident. Oh, we can continue with this later. Right, Hajime? What's wrong with him? He's even creepier than usual. Crazy marshmallow man. It's about time I showed my serious side. We haven't seen your serious side? How troublesome. But I suppose I can display my true power for the sake of our two fallen comrades. Hey, what did Monokuma mean just now? Don't tell me Nekomaru's already... Don't get distracted by Monokuma. We need to focus on the class trial right now. I know, but... Hey, what are you whining about? Hurry and get this over with already. And then we can greet Coach Nekomaru with open arms when he comes back. I already figured this, but it's best if we don't rely on Monomi all that much. She's just saying stupid things, and it'll just make us even more confused. Maybe we should shut her up for good. Long walk off a short pier. Let's go. There's no time to waste. I know it's sad, but we need to move forward. And then, we need to end this once and for all. Hiyoko, it must be my fault after all. Then, I must learn the truth behind this murder for most foul. Now then, let us proceed. I haven't been helpful at all. I couldn't even figure out an estimated time of death. I'm sorry I'm such a useless piece of trash. It's like, what, because Hiyoko isn't around anymore to call you trash, you're gonna have to call yourself trash? Bleh.
We stepped onto the escalator and ascended towards the gaping maw of Monokuma Rock. And that's when I suddenly noticed it. I noticed our lined up silhouettes kept getting smaller and smaller. Yeah, that's how it works when people die. You know, there's less of you each time. But I can't turn back now. If I turn back, I won't be able to press forward. And we must go forwards, not backwards, upwards, not forwards, and ever twirling towards freedom. And when everyone was inside of Monokuma Rock, the elevator began its steep descent as usual. 4 fewer than the last trial, yep. But nobody said a word. As we stood there trying to figure out what to say to each other, the elevator descended deeper and deeper. Spiraling seems like the right thing to do here, to be honest. Yeah. Being in a death game would be very, very stressful. And that's when it descended as far as it could go, and it finally stopped. The elevator doors opened slowly, almost tantalizingly so. Light poured through from the other side, eroding the boundaries of the darkness. Yeah, miniature flags for others. Exactly. I'm glad that somebody got that reference. If you come to this channel, you have to expect Simpsons references between seasons 1 and probably, we'll say 12-ish. Really, like, it stopped being good. Season 9 is like the high point, I think. But still, expect like 90s Simpsons references. And I walked into that place. My, it feels pretty toothless with all these empty seats. You didn't want to... Well, 2 people got killed at the same time, and Nekomaru's not here either. Is Nekomaru really not participating? If he's alive, you should invite him. Why bother? What? Now then, let's begin. It's the beginning of the long-awaited class trial. Please enjoy it to your heart's content. And so, the curtain to the 3rd class trial was about to open. Ibuki Miyoda, the ultimate musician. She was really loud, but she was the mood maker of our group. When I was with her, all of my pain and suffering just seemed to melt away. Hiyoko Sayonji, the ultimate traditional dancer. Just looking at her adorable face, you'd never know she was actually selfish and foul-mouthed. Like, damn, way to shit-talk the dead. But she was trying to change herself, and she was desperately trying to come to terms with Mahiru's death. The person who killed those 2 is among us. I definitely can't believe it. But whether I believe it or not is irrelevant. Unless I figure out the truth, I won't be able to escape from this hell. That's why I must find out, no matter the cost. For our sake, for our friends' sake, for Ibuki and Hiyoko's sake. And so, the curtain to the 3rd class trial was about to open. This life-threatening trial, billowing with hope and despair, has begun. Monokuma, I'm going to tear every last one of you up over and over again until you give us Nekomaru. Yeah. Page 1 is almost entirely intact, but pages 2 and 3 are almost gone. It is an interesting distribution of deaths in this game. Yes, save my progress. I appreciate it. Ah, fuck. Okay, we didn't buy any skills. Shit. And it's too late to buy them now. God damn it. Okay, charisma, I believe, is already equipped. We'll equip cheat code. I can't bring up the button. Like, it's not allowing me to bring up the menu for that. We'll see. Okay, so cheat code is the time limit doesn't decrease even when you shoot a statement with the silencer. Lightning flash is equipped as well. Oh, you open e-handbook. Okay, there we go. Okay, report card, we go there, and then we can buy some skills. So what do we want? What are we struggling with the most? If anyone has any suggestions of something that's particularly useful. Sharpness is increased by 5 for the rebuttal showdown. Obviously, with fine sword, like this is like the part with the swords. The sharpness isn't really something like, for me, it's just that happens so fast that I can't find the statement and get the correct truth blade set up. Easier to shift mood to your favor. That might be useful. Allows you to lock onto 2 statements at once during the pan. That might be very useful. Increases bullet capacity. That also is nice. I wouldn't have to reload as often. Increases damage to the opponent when this statement is destroyed. The influence gauge recovers over time during concentration and fever time. Effective during... Focus gauge decreases at a slower rate during concentration and fever time. Increases the speed of memorizing a statement. I don't even fucking know what that meant. Decreases delay between firing truth bullets. Effective during the non-stop debate. Reduces your aiming speed. Slightly steadies your aim. That might be useful. Cannot be combined with tranquility. I don't think we have tranquility. Slightly increases the time limit for each phase. I think algorithm allows us to slurp faster. That might be nice. Increases the speed. Ah, that's what that means, memorizing a statement. Let's do that. We didn't check some of these ones down here. Increases max speed during the logic dive. Increases turning power. Increases jumping power. Why would you want to, like, decrease your aiming speed? Let's get the steadies your aim one as well. I think that's maybe good for now. Oh, let's do this one too. Allows you to lock onto 2 statements at once. There. And maybe Mood Maker as well. Let's save a little bit, just in case we find, like, we only started doing the logic dive, and we're not sure what's going to be irritating with that yet, so let's save a little bit. There, that's everything that we bought equipped. I don't think that we need to look at the truth bullets in the e-handbook. We did just find them all.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it. If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment, but if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave the island. Oh well, who cares about this boring explanation? Let's get on with it already. Normally I wouldn't talk over them or cut it off, but we understand.
I don't mind starting the trial, but I don't really have a grasp on how the case played out. You know, because I was asleep the whole time. Even if you do grasp it, you're just gonna confuse the heck out of us, aren't you? But Nagito's not alone. I don't really get it either. You're fine, your head's empty anyway. Kazuichi, you're being mean. Empty head? What's wrong with that? Listen up. The emptier your head, the more dreams you can stuff inside it, you know? I actually like that. That's a very cute rebuttal. Anyway, we shouldn't proceed with the trial if those two can't participate in the arguments. Since he's the first witness, why don't we ask Hajime to explain the incident and the sequence of events? Then let's start with when we split into the hospital team and the motel team because of the disparities. The hospital team consisted of Nagito, Ibuki, and Akane, who were infected, and Mikan, Fuyuhiko, and me. The other 5 on the motel team were myself, Gundam, Kazuichi, Chiaki, and Hiyoko. Spending the night at the hospital was prohibited, so Hajime and I had to sleep at our cottages. It is a knife and fork, yeah. I actually wondered if everybody would get something. Like is Ibuki's there? Is that drumsticks? I need to pay more attention to see if everybody's X is a little personalized. I woke up at my cottage on the day the incident happened. Mikan came by to wake me up and told me that Nagito had recovered from his symptoms. We immediately headed over to the hospital, and after we confirmed his recovery, I made Mikan rest in the on-call room since she hadn't slept all night, while I waited in the hospital lobby. And then I saw the incoming signal light on the surveillance camera blinking before our scheduled time. When I pressed the button to turn on the monitor, what appeared on screen was a video of someone wearing a hospital gown and a hemp bag on their head, climbing a stepladder. Amazing. That's such a heart-pounding story. And then what did you do, Hajime? I'm actually wondering, like, even though Akane was ill, don't you think it's kind of suspicious, the whole robe thing? How she wants another robe. She never really did clarify what happened to her robe. She just says she doesn't want to wear it anymore because she already wore it. So that is suspicious to me. I need a sip of tea. Amazing. That's such a heart-pounding story. And then what did you do, Hajime? Pecos is her sword and bag, but it's not as easy to notice. Oh, interesting. I'll have to, like, try to spot that as the camera swings around. I'm usually so distracted by reading the text. I tried to stop them, of course. I rushed out of the hospital and ran to the video, where the video was being recorded, the music venue.
でも間に合わなかったんだ。
But it was too late.
駆けつけたライブハウスではすでに麻袋をかぶった人物が首を吊ってたんだ。
By the time I arrived, the person wearing the hemp bag on their head was already hanging from the ceiling.
すぐに他のみんなに知らせようと思って俺はモーテルに向かった。
I thought I should tell the others right away, so I headed to the motel. Yeah, Hyoko's sign is shorter than all the rest, yeah.
どうしてモーテルに？
Why the motel? At least Byakuya's sign, as far as I'm aware, isn't significantly larger than all the rest, considering all the fat jokes they've made.
ライブハウスから近かったからだよ。それに病院と違って動ける人間が多いからだ。
Because it was close to the music venue, and unlike the hospital, there were more able-bodied people there.
と思ったんだけど、そこで俺についてきてくれたのはナナミだけだったな。
At least that's what I thought, but the only person who came with me was Chiaki. So yeah, we got all these other people here, but the only one who came to help was the nerd.
けどその直後に積木さんやクズリュウ君と合流できてちょっと安心したのを覚えてるよ。
But I remember feeling a little relieved because not long after, we met up with Mikan and Fuyuhiko.
俺らは俺らでいなくなったミオダを探してたんだ。
We were also looking for Ibuki since she disappeared from our sight.
私はちょっとだけ休憩した後病気の皆さんの見回りを始めたんですけど
After I rested up for a bit, I started counting everyone at the hospital.
そこでミオダさんがいなくなったことに気づいてそれで慌てて病院を飛び出して
And then I noticed Ibuki was gone, so I sprinted out of the hospital. Actually, there's something a little weird about Byakuya's ex as well. It is definitely thicker than the other ones, but I'm trying to see, like, if it's something in particular, I'm not really recognizing it.
そうしたら偶然にもクズリュウさんと会えたので手伝ってもらえないかといろんな形でお願いしたんです。
Coincidentally, I ran into Fuyuhiko, so I pled with him in various ways to see if he could help me out.
いろんな形で？
Various ways?
誤解されるような言い方はやめろ。
Don't say it like that and confuse people. That adorable blush. Maybe because he was the first murdered? It could be. I do feel like it might be a subtle fat joke.
その二人からミオダがいなくなったって聞いた俺はあの麻袋の人物がそうなんじゃないかと思って。
After I heard from those two that Ibuki disappeared, I had a feeling that she was the person wearing the hemp bag.
すぐにみんなを連れてライブハウスに戻ったんだ。
So I immediately led them to the music venue.
けどライブハウスの扉が開かなくなってやがった。仕方ねえから4人でぶち破ったんだ。
But the door wouldn't open. Since we had no other option, the four of us broke down the door.
そうしたらミオダの死体だけじゃねえ。西園寺の死体まであったんだ。
And when that happened, we didn't just find Ibuki's body, we also found Hyoko's.
しかも柱に貼り付けにされた状態でだぞ。
And not just that, her body was taped to a pillar.
死体発見アナウンスが鳴ったのはその時だ。しかも2回連続だったな。
That's when we heard the body discovery announcement not once, but twice in a row.
とりあえず首をつっていた死体を下ろしてあげようって話になったんですよね。
And so we decided to lower the hanged body, didn't we?
麻袋を外してみたらやっぱりそれはミオダだったんだ。
When we removed the hemp bag, just as we feared, it was Ibuki.
それが今回の事件の流れだね。ありがとう。よくわかったよ。
So that's how the case played out. Thank you. I understood it very easily.
まあ今回の事件で何が問題かははっきりしてるぜ。日向がライブハウスから離れている間に誰が
Well, it's clear what the problem with the case is. When Hajime left the music venue, who...
でも今の話ってどこまで信用していいのかな。
Wait, how do I know that anything Hajime just said is true? Huh?
ごめん。客観的に聞くとさ、今の話って明らかに怪しいんだよね。
Sorry, I'm only being impartial right now, and the story I just heard is clearly suspicious. I mean, if it was anyone other than the main character telling this story, I would probably also be suspicious. But with Nagito bringing this up as well, I saw a thing once that when someone was like, I'm just being a devil's advocate. It's like, the devil doesn't need an advocate. You're just being an asshole. Like,
だって首吊りの映像を見たのも日向くんだけでミオダさんの死体を最初に発見した時もそうなんでしょ
Hajime, if you're the only one who saw the hanging video and the first one to discover Ibuki's body,
だったらいくらでも嘘をつけるよね
then you could be lying as much as you want to right now, right?
嘘ってなんで俺が嘘をつかなくちゃならないんだよ
Lie? Why would I lie?
当然自分にとって不都合な真実から僕らの目をそらすためだよ
Obviously, so you could make us ignore what might be an inconvenient truth for you.
俺を疑ってるのか
Do you doubt me?
そうじゃないなら証明してほしいな
If you're not lying, I'd like you to prove it. So to me, this is the movie ticket, because the murderer, the person who would have to do this, would have to have seen the movie, and we can prove that we only saw the movie after the murder was done. Nagito, you sit your ass right down. You were the one with liar's disease. It's not like he was ever the most truthful or forthcoming to begin with.
ほら証明してみせてよ君が犯人じゃないってことをさ
Come on, try to prove it to me. Prove you're not the killer. It's just as Kazuichi said. Nagito's the kind of guy who'll just confuse us and make matters worse. Damn it, I shouldn't have explained it to Nagito. I'm in trouble now thanks to that. Okay, we want the movie's invitation ticket. Time to try to remember all the controls. If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself, that would also be a lie. I don't think I can deny that possibility. Hajime is the only witness. Why would Hajime lie? Well, obviously because he's the killer. Did Hajime kill both of them? There we go. Just getting into position for the next one. I'm not the killer. There should be a contradiction somewhere.
日向君の証言は
日向さんのミオダさんが
もちろん嘘その可能だって目撃
なぜ日向さん
もちろん彼が
日向君が2人を殺した
それらの死体を
There we go.
それは違うぞ俺は犯人なんかじゃないだって俺にはあんな見立てなんて
I'm not the killer. I mean, there's no way I'd be able to imitate that movie.
できるわけがないよね分かってるって
Of course you're not. I already knew that. Nagito, you are such a shit. You are such a shit.
Huh?
I mean, like, he was with me there when I got the ticket, so he knew.
日向君は事件前にあの映画を見ていなかったそれは彼が持っている招待券が証拠だよ
Before the incident, Hajime never watched that movie. His invitation ticket is proof of that. Really, I feel that, like, Nagito just brought this up to get that evidence into play, so that way everyone would know that I'm innocent, and that would be, like, off the table.
あの招待券は一人につき1枚しか配られないものだし
Each
使っ
person
た日時もスタンプで刻印されてしまう
Each person only received one ticket, and they're marked with a stamp that shows the date and time. It's like, he could have just said, like, hey, everybody, I want you to know that Hajime couldn't possibly be the killer, and this is why. Instead of accusing us, so that way we would refute it. And he's like, yeah, that's correct. Like, you're just being a shit. Nagito, you have no idea how badly I want to curse you with an unreachable itch, right? May your shoe always have a Lego in it that you can't find.
間違いないよねモノクマ
Isn't that right, Monokuma?
はい何も間違いありません
Yep, no mistakes there.
つまり事件前に映画を見てなかった彼にその映画に見立てた殺人を実行できるわけがないんだよ
Which means there's no way Hajime, who never saw the movie, could commit murders that imitated it. I mean, if you want to be a real asshole about it, you could say that it wasn't an imitation, it was pure luck. But I wouldn't believe that.
それとも 彼に映画の内容を話した人がいる？いるわけないよね。
Or did anyone tell him about what happens in the movie? Of course, no one did, right? Yeah, may you always stub your toe when you don't have shoes on. It's like, may stoplights turn red every time you approach them. Hold on a sec, you're the one who brought this up in the first place. Nagito, what are you doing?
いや、今回は君の目撃証言が前提になるみたいだから、まずはその地盤を固めておこうかと思ってさ。
Well, since we're opening with your witness testimony, I thought we should solidify the foundation by accusing you. It also provides a good warm-up. What warm-up? This isn't a game, you know.
怒らないでよ。遊びじゃないからこそウォーミングアップが必要だと思っただけなんだ。
Don't get mad. I just think warming up is really important, especially since this isn't a game. Yeah, it's just a prank, bro.
無駄な時間を使っちゃったね。まあ、そんなことじゃないかと思ったけどさ。
What a waste of time. Well, I knew it would turn out like this anyway.
では、日向さんの証言は信用できるということで、議論を進めましょうか。
Now then, since we know that Hajime's testimony is reliable, let us move on to the arguments.
つうことは、ミオダが自分で脚立を登ったのも間違いねえんだな。
So this means Ibuki definitely climbed the stepladder all by herself, right?
ああ、確かだよ。
Yeah, I'm positive.
なら決まりだ。ミオダは自殺だったんだ。
Then that seals it. Ibuki committed suicide.
ミオダが自殺なら誰が西園寺を殺したのだ?
If Ibuki committed suicide, then who killed Hiyoko? Like I said, I don't necessarily believe that Ibuki did kill or commit suicide.
自殺とは別の殺人が偶然にも同じ場所で、なわけねえもんな。
A murder coincidentally occurring at the same place as a suicide ain't possible, huh?
つーか、さっきから言ってんだろ。今回の事件で何が問題なのかははっきりしてるってよ。
Like I said before, it's pretty clear what the problem with this case is. Yeah, Akane had gullible disease. But I'm starting to wonder... Well, I guess it would be hard for it to be faked. Because if she was to fake it, she would need to have, like, known that it was gonna happen at, like, the same time as it was happening to other people. Yeah, that would have been pretty difficult for her to fake the symptoms of that at the same time as everyone else was getting infected. Admittedly, though, I felt like gullible disease was like a... Oh, right, Ibuki had gullible disease, yes. Akane had coward's disease. I'm getting that crossed. Yeah, Ibuki could have been ordered to do what she did. Yeah. Exactly.
犯人は日向がライブハウスから離れてる間に西園寺を殺してるんだぞ。
The killer murdered Hiyoko while Hajime was gone.
だったら、それが可能だったやつをはっきりさせればいいだけじゃねえか。
So all we gotta do is establish who could have possibly done that.
では、日向に問おう。貴様がライブハウスから離れていた時間はどの程度だ?
Then let's ask Hajime. How long would you say you were away from the music venue?
多分10分もかからなかったと思う。
I couldn't have been gone for more than 10 minutes.
10分で西園寺を殺して貼り付けにしたってのか? いくらなんでも無理じゃね?
So then they killed Hiyoko and taped her up within 10 minutes? There's no way that's possible. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like this did not happen in the music venue. Either of them. I feel like both of them were like moved there.
だから犯人はその時間稼ぎのためにあのライブハウスを密室にしたんだろ。
That's why the killer stalled for time by making the music venue a closed room.
密室ってなんだ?
What do you mean a closed room?
犯人はライブハウスの扉を内側から封鎖して、俺らがすぐに入ってこられねえようにしてたんだよ。
The killer blocked the venue door from the inside to try to keep us from entering right away.
ですが、ライブハウスの出入り口ってあのドアだけでしたよね。
However, that door is the only entrance to the music venue, right?
それを内側から封鎖してしまったら、犯人も出られなくなってしまいますよ。
If they blocked the door from the inside, the killer would not have been able to leave either.
ああ、その通りだ。
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, again, with the gullible disease, because like I said, whoever put up Hiyoko needed help. So with the gullible disease, they could have ordered Ibuki to help them hold up Hiyoko while they taped her, and then ordered her to lock the door behind them with a drumstick and then hang herself. So, like, Ibuki could have definitely been a valuable tool in this murder. The only thing, if that is it, the only thing that doesn't really work out here then is the video that we saw of Ibuki hanging herself, which I believe was shot actually in the conference room. I do not believe that that was happening in the music venue. And how we saw Ibuki hanging there when we first went there. Like, how was she up there and then down and then back up there again? Mo, welcome in. How's it going? Yeah, it's some heavy shit in today's trial.
つまり、俺らがライブハウスの扉をぶち破った時、犯人はまだ中にいやがったんだ。
Which means, when we first broke down the venue door, the killer was still inside. Mikan had the possibility to be in the conference room. Exactly, yeah. She was in the hospital, she would have been upstairs. Mikan also has like long black hair. She could have faked being Ibuki because of the bag on her head. And we know that there's the possibility of there being two bags, right? Like the only one, right? Because we were in the hall? Yeah. They were?
となれば、その時のアリバイがねえやつが怪しいってことになるはずだが。
If that's, yeah, I'd say that my lead suspect at this point is Mikan, which I know feels repetitive because she was like my lead suspect for the last one as well. But I feel like that makes sense. That would explain kind of how we saw everything. Yeah. And Mikan was the only person there overnight, right? Yeah, I think Mikan is prime suspect now. Agreed, yeah. If that's the case, the only suspicious people are those who don't have an alibi for that time. Good, thanks. Just woke up. Yeah, it's gotta love that. First thing in the morning, time for a murder trial. And that's you too, Sonia and Kazuichi. Me too? What the hell? Why's it gotta be us? Don't talk to me until I've had my morning murder. Exactly. The others all have alibis.
俺とナナミと積み木は、日向と一緒にそのライブハウスの扉を破ってるし。
Chiaki, Mikan, Hajime, and I all broke down the venue door together.
田中はその直前にモーテルで日向と会ってたはずだ。
Gundam met up with Hajime at the motel right before that.
それに病院にいた尾張と狛枝に犯行が不可能となれば、てめえらのどっちかとしか考えらんねえだろ。
And if Akane and Nagito were laid up at the hospital, then the only person that leaves is one of you.
アリバイがない人ならもう一人いるよね。ほら、二代君だよ。
There is one other person who doesn't have an alibi. You know, Nekomaru. How are you guys? Anything crazy lately? Not too crazy. Like I said, been enjoying Blueprints. Had a good interview earlier this week. Been reading books, posting, doing video editing, working on YouTube stuff. That's about it. Unless Mikana's an accomplice, there is no way she ain't the murderer, right? Like, it just works. The suppositions that we've laid out just work out too perfectly. If it's a different explanation, I'm actually going to be disappointed in them. Yeah, Nekomaru's alibi is that he's potentially dead. He got hit with a bazooka, okay? Even if he's not dead, he's not at his, like, fighting best right now. Me too? Hey, why are you talking like that? Huh? You're kidding, right? You're not up to something weird, are you? In that case, I could be the best serial killer ever. Who's to say that I'm not? It's fine. It's fine. You're kidding, right? You're not up to something weird, are you? Please stop making bad jokes. Maybe who's gonna suspect someone who's been dead for over 40 years, right? I think anybody who's watched enough Supernatural realizes that ghosts can be deadly. Anyway, if the killer was hiding inside the venue, we should obviously doubt the people who don't have alibis. Oh, what a wicked way of backing us into a wall. Is this his professional skill? Ever heard of Five Nights at Freddy's? The door was not actually, there was something on the door. We didn't identify what it was. Let's take a quick look at the truth bullet. A strange glob that was stuck to where both music venue doors touch each other. They were also blocked by a I don't know why it's not in here. I think I yelled at it when it didn't get added as an account. There was a broken drumstick. Yeah. Has to be in one of these. There was a broken drumstick. Is it in the file? No. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not coming up here, but we found a drumstick broken on the floor, and with the way that the music venue's doors, like the handles are, it very much could have been put across the handles to form like a lock. What a wicked way of backing us into a wall. Is this his professional skill? The killer was inside the music venue. Fuyuhiko obviously thinks so, but is that really it? Okay, motel room key, thick scrap of paper, stepladder, semi-transparent glob, surveillance monitor video. The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in. It seems that they were trying to stall for time. How did they lock the door? The door should not have had a lock. The lock was on the floor in front of the door. Are you talking about the broken drumstick? You can use that as a bolt to lock the door. By doing that, the killer, who was hiding inside, waited until we gathered together, and suddenly appeared. So they looked like they had rushed over. I've seen this in serial crime dramas. The person's remark contradicts the truth. I should be able to prove that with my evidence. But a single drumstick would be way too weak. I'm not sure if it was a single or if there was two. they were able to break it after, like, pushing on the door a couple of times. So I feel like it's not completely unreasonable. So we have the motel room key, the thick scrap of paper, the stepladder. Motel room key, I don't think would be relevant to this at all. Thick scrap of paper. Stuck to the baton lighting. That's going to be relevant, but it's not currently relevant. I don't remember what the other one was already. Stepladder. Stepladder was found on the music venue stage, tipped to its side. On its left side, a slight bloodstain can be seen. Then we have semi-transparent glob is going to be it, I believe. Surveillance monitor video. A video that Hajime saw at the hospital. It shows a person dressed in a hospital gown wearing a hemp bag on their head as they willingly climb a stepladder towards a noose. I don't think this is going to have anything to do with the door being locked. Motel room key. Well, I think we already looped. So it's going to be this. So what does this affect? It's not going to have anything to do with a broken drumstick. Okay. Fresh look through. Locking the door from the inside. It could be. Stall for time, I don't think. This would support. That's a supporting one, not a yeah. I feel like it's possibly the first one. There we go. I'm like, if it isn't this, then I feel like it's a schlorp because it doesn't really match up to anything else. Hold on a sec. There's also a possibility that the door was locked from the outside. From the outside? How? Oh, there are two little jumping spiders chasing each other on my windowsill. There was a semi-transparent glob stuck to the venue door. Maybe that's what they used. Semi-transparent glob. Like rubber, maybe? They're playing tag, leave them alone, yeah. Oh, one of them just, like, flung himself away, so... Like rubber, maybe? It wasn't rubber at all. That semi-transparent glob was probably... Was it gummy? No, she said it tasted weird, right? Do we have access? Do we have information about what... No, there's no info there. It was Chiaki that tasted it, but we don't have Chiaki's account in here. Yeah, she said it tasted bad. I'm gonna say glue. There we go. That semi-transparent glob must have been glue. Glue? Yeah, I think so too. It had firm gel-like chewiness, and I could smell workshop chemicals the moment I put it in my mouth. Don't you put it in your mouth, okay? I said there was a 90s PSA in Canada about for kids not to just pick up random shit and put it in their mouths. Based on all of that, I'm certain it was glue. Chuck eats glue, it's canon, yeah.
接着剤って食えるんだ。
I didn't know glue was edible.
普通は食べられないと思いますよ。
I believe it is not something that one typically eats. I think they make glue sticks non-toxic specifically because they feel like kids are gonna take a chomp out of it.
その接着剤がこびりついてたのは左右の扉が触れる部分だけだった。
That glue only applied to the areas where both doors touched.
きっと閉じた扉の隙間から流し込むことでライブハウスの扉を外から塞いだんだろうな。
By pouring it in the gaps of the closed door, they must have sealed the venue doors from the outside.
そのせいで扉が接着する面に接着剤の塊が残った。
And thanks
あの状況ともぴったり合ってるね。
and thanks to that, a glob of glue was left where the door was stuck. Yep, it fits perfectly.
でも接着剤でくっつけただけだと簡単にドアが破られちゃいますよ。
But if you just stick them together with glue, you'd be able to break the door down easily, you know?
別にいいんだよ。犯人の目的は扉が中から封じられたと誤認させることだけなんだし。
That doesn't really matter. The killer only did that to make us think the door was locked from the inside.
なんだと？
What'd you say?
そもそもあのドラムスティックってあからさますぎて不自然じゃなかった？
First of all, didn't that drumstick we found seem really obvious? Almost unnaturally so?
むしろ犯人の偽装工作。そう考えた方がしっくりくるほど不自然だったよね。
It was so obvious that it makes more sense to think that the killer placed it as a diversion.
あのドラムスティックは犯人がわざとあそこに置いた罠ってことか。
Are you saying that the drumstick was a trap that the killer set on purpose?
じゃあ俺はまんまと犯人の罠にはまっちまってたのかよ。
Then I totally fell for that fucking trap.
ソニアさんと俺に謝れ。ただし腹をかっさばくのはもう禁止だからな。
Apologize to Miss Sonia and me. However, you're not allowed to open your stomach this time. That is the most serious picture of of Ibuki, yeah. It would have been nice if, like, her death portrait here had been the foaming at the mouth one. In a quarrel, both sides are to blame. That's why it's better just to have no sides at all.
すると犯人は日向が離れている10分程度の間に殺人だけではなく密室まで作っていたというのか。
So, during the 10 minutes that Hajime left the venue, the killer murdered Hiyoko and created a closed space.
しかも殺した上に貼り付けまでやったんだろ。
And they also taped her up after killing her, right?
早技にも程があんだろ。
Even quick work has its limits.
ノロマな私には考えられないスピードです。
I don't believe you. What unimaginable speed for a slowpoke like me.
日向くんがライブハウスから離れてる間にやるのが難しいなら。
If they couldn't have done it while Hajime was away from the venue,
じゃあその前にやったのかもね。
then they must have done it earlier than that. Earlier?
けど日向が最初にライブハウスに行った時、そこにはミオダの死体しかなかったんだぞ。
But when Hajime got to the venue, only Ibuki's body was there, right?
で、その後にみんなと一緒に行ってみたら、西園寺さんの死体が増えてたんだよね。
And when you went back with everyone else, Hiyoko's body was there too, right?
でも、その時は死体が出てきただけで、実際に殺されたのはもっと前だったのかもしれないよ。
But it's possible that the body was just revealed at that time when Hiyoko was actually killed earlier. That's what I've been saying.
出てきただけ？
Just revealed?
もちろん死体が勝手に出てきたわけじゃないよ。それも犯人の仕業なんだ。
Of course, the body wasn't revealed on its own. The killer did that too.
はい。これがその証拠だよ。
Here, I have proof.
その厚紙の切れ端はライブハウスの照明バトンに挟まっていたものか。
That scrap of paper. Is that what we found in the... Oh, I see. Is that what we found in the baton lighting at the music venue? So, this is some wallpaper that was in the back room. I'm wondering if this was basically made into like a tube around the pillar with Hiyoko already on it. So it just obfuscated the fact that the body was there. The pillar had like a larger diameter than it was supposed to. Yeah, I doubt Hiyoko died within 10 minutes. It's like way too fast. I assume that she died somewhere else and that they managed to, they had her like in the back room or something when we walked in and saw Ibuki. And then in the 10 minutes, they brought her out, held her up, and duct taped her. Like, with 2 people, that seems like it might not be completely unreasonable. But if they use the wallpaper to basically make, a tube around Hiyoko taped to the pillar, that I could see that working. Especially if we're distracted by another body, you know?
そうなんだけどさ、そもそもこの切れ端って何なんだろうね。
That's right, but just what is this scrap anyway? That scrap was stuck on the baton lighting in the music venue. Now I should be able to figure out what it is. Wallpaper. I hate that you guys don't come in the correct order. There we go. God, there's just so many. Go away. Oops, I wanted to get rid of that. Does it hurt me if they run into each other? Yes, it does. Oops. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that I can just move them aside. Can I please have an R? There. Getting slightly better at that one.
その切れ端って倉庫にあった壁紙の一部なんじゃないか?
That scrap. Isn't it part of the wallpaper in the storage room?
ライブハウスの倉庫にはその切れ端と同じ色の黒い壁紙があったはずだ。
In the music venue storage room, there should have been black wallpaper that's the same color as that scrap.
あの壁紙も端の方がちぎれてたよな。だとすると
There was also a tear along the edge of the wallpaper, wasn't there? If so...
そうなんだよ。照明に引っかかってた切れ端とその壁紙のちぎれた部分を合わせてみるとね。
You're right. If you overlay the scrap that was caught on the lighting with the tear in the wallpaper.
ほら、見事に一致するんだ。
See, it fits perfectly. Again, this is reminding me of a Simpsons episode with the portrait of George Washington and the stolen, like the scrap, like ripped off piece that Jebediah Springfield wrote on, I think.
なるほど。照明バトンに引っかかっていた紙の切れ端は元はその壁紙の一部だったのですね。
I see. So the scrap that was caught on the baton lighting was originally part of the wallpaper.
で、それがどうしたんだ? 西園寺の死体が現れたことと関係あんのかよ?
And what's wrong with that? Does it have something to do with Hyoko's body disappearing?
そんなの僕なんかが答えるまでもなく。
A mere nobody like me isn't important enough to answer that.
切れ端の正体を簡単に見破るほど優秀なみんななら きっとすぐに分かっちゃうはずだよ。
But if you guys were exceptional enough to identify that scrap of paper, you can figure this out easily. I mean, like, if you're not important enough to say stuff like that, Nagito, maybe you shouldn't say anything at all. Maybe you should just stay silent. The scrap of paper stuck to the baton lighting was part of the wallpaper that I found in the storage room. Is it connected to the sudden appearance of Hyoko's body? If I trace it back from there, the answer should become clear. Alright, let's give this a try. Okay, time for the snowboarding game. I don't remember any of the controls. Okay. So, go with A, break with B, jump with Y. Don't understand how this has anything to do with us doing trial information. Okay, why did Yuko's body suddenly appear at the crime scene? It was hidden. Oh, shit. Okay, question 2. What did the killer use to hide her body? The wallpaper. Okay, question 3. How did the killer hide her body behind the wallpaper? They covered the pillar, is what I'm gonna say. There. Not terrible. My brain interpreted this as waterboarding game, and I was concerned. Yeah, not something that it would be that I'd be willing to participate in this. I love Subway Surfers.
分かった。俺たちが見つけるまで西園寺の死体はずっと隠されてたんだ。
I got it. Hyoko's body was hidden before we found it.
だが隠していた死体を柱に貼り付けにするだけでもかなりの時間を要するはずだ。
But it would have taken quite a long time to tape up a hidden body.
むしろ最初から貼り付けにされてて、その柱ごと壁紙で隠したんじゃないか?
No, the body was already taped up and the killer hid it, along with the pillar using the wallpaper.
柱ごとだと?
What? They hid the pillar?
ああ、犯人は柱の周りにあの壁紙を巻くことで、そこにもう一回り大きい柱を作ったんだよ。
Yeah, by wrapping the wallpaper around the pillar, the killer was able to create a slightly larger pillar.
最初に俺がミオダの死体を見つけたとき、西園寺の死体はすでにそこにあったんだ。
So when I first discovered Ibuki's body, Hyoko's body was already there.
ただ、一回り大きい柱に隠されてたせいで気づけなかっただけなんだ。
However, because it was concealed within a slightly larger pillar, I didn't realize that at the time.
まあ、気づけなくても無理ないよね。ミオダさんの死体の方に目がいっちゃうのは当然だもんな。
Well, that's understandable. I mean, it makes sense that you'd notice Ibuki's body right away.
その壁紙を吊るすのに天井の照明バトンを使ったのですか?
So they used the baton lighting on the ceiling to hang the wallpaper?
照明バトンは柱をぐるりと取り囲む構造だったし、そうやって使うにはぴったりだよね。
The baton lighting forms a perfect circle around the pillar, so using it to hang the wallpaper totally fits. We're slightly richer.
じゃあ壁紙にステッカーがいっぱい貼られていたのはあの柱と似せるためだったんですね。
then the reason the wallpaper was covered in so many stickers was to make it look like that pillar.
犯人はそうやって西園寺の死体を隠しておいてライブハウスから離れた隙に壁紙を剥がしたんだ。
That's how they hid Hyoko's body, and then peeled off the wallpaper as soon as I left the music venue.
でも犯人はそこでミスを犯した。うっかり壁紙の一部を切っちゃったんだよ。
But the killer made a mistake. They accidentally ripped off a piece of the wallpaper. Got out of bed to type that, yeah.
そのせいで照明バトンにその切れ端が残っちゃったんだね。
And because of that, a scrap was left on the baton lighting.
きっと犯人も相当急いでたんだろうね。もたもたしてたら日向くんが戻ってきちゃうからね。
The killer must have been in a hurry. If their plan took too long, Hajime could have walked in on them.
だけど柱ごと隠すなんて大胆っていうかとんでもっていうか。
But going to the trouble of hiding the body and pillar is very bold and risky.
ただ犯行の難易度はぐんと下がるよね。日向くんがいない間にやるべきことが少なくなるからね。
But the crime itself would have been much easier to pull off since they don't have much to do while Hajime's gone.
壁紙を剥がして倉庫に放り投げておくだけ。そこに密室トリックを含めても大した手間じゃないよ。
They just have to peel off that wallpaper and stash it in the storage room. It's not that big of a deal.
だったら実際に西園寺が殺されたのはいつだったんだ？
Then when was Hyoko actually killed? And we have a difficult time knowing that because of the temperature.
そうだね。それを明らかにするためにも
A good point. And on that note,
そろそろ例の見立て殺人についてはっきりさせておこうか。
it's about time we shed some light on those imitation murders.
さっきから言ってる見立て殺人って何ですか？
You mentioned imitation murder more than once, but what is that?
The thing that I'm confused about the most of this trial, because I think we have it down, I think we know who did it and how they did it and all of that, is the motive. Like, why did Mikan kill Ibuki and Hyoko? Like, don't get me wrong, I thought that she was the murderer last time because of the way that she had been treated and stuff like that. So it could just be because Hyoko's been an incredible bitch to her for a long time. Ibuki's also part of that group, right? Like, we learned through the game, that Twilight murder syndrome thing, that they were part of, like, the same social group, and Ibuki didn't stop Mikan from getting bullied. So it could be as simple as that.
嘘だろ？見てないの？あの名作モノミの魔法使い 2.5 でよ。
Are you kidding me? You haven't seen my masterpiece, The Wizard of Monomi 2.5D?
勝手に私を出演させないでください。
Hey, don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission.
うるさいな。主食がマリモのくせに。
You're pretty noisy for someone who eats moss balls.
それないよ。マリモは鑑賞するだけだもん。
I don't eat moss balls. I just enjoy looking at them.
For anyone who's not familiar with moss balls, this is the thing. They are kind of like a terrarium-esque sort of thing. It's a particular type of moss that in Japan, I'm not sure where else, will kind of grow and form into like this perfectly round ball. They are very cute. They are incredibly cute. I have two beside me right now. Nice.
やっぱりあの見立てって意図的なんですよね。共通点が多すぎますもんね。
I knew it. There's so many similarities. It must have been intentional. And why? Damn it, I'm hungry. Why are we talking about snacks? You guys are gonna get me started.
ミオダが首をつって死んでたのは映画で最初に死んだカカシと同じだ。
Ibuki's death by hanging matches the Scarecrow's death from the movie.
それに西園寺が貼り付けにされて死んでたのも2番目に死んだライオンと同じだったな。
Not only that, but Hyoko getting taped up after her death matches the lion's death.
どちらも映画の筋書きをなぞったような犯行だ。バラバラにされたブリキの木こりは残っていたがな。
It's as if both crimes were replicas of scenes from the movie, although the mutilated Tin Man was omitted. Just get out there and eat moss. Easy. I would love a little moss garden terrarium. Not to eat, honestly. I just like moss. Moss and ferns are like my favorite. I'm not much of a succulent person. I do have a bear's paw succulent, and I'm not gonna lie. I did look up to see if it was toxic or not, because they look like these perfect gummy bear paws. And I'm like, I just need to make sure that they're toxic, and that way all the temptation to eat this will be gone forever. And they are toxic, and the temptation is gone.
けど犯人はなんでそんな面倒なことをしたんだ
But why did the killer go to all this trouble in the first place?
犯人が見立て殺人をした理由なんて今となっては大して難しい謎じゃないはずだよ。
Based on what we know, the reason the killer chose these imitations isn't that difficult to figure out. Fun fact, if you grab a fistful of moss and squeeze it, you can get clean water from it. Interesting. I just need to find a place to get some moss, because I don't necessarily want to buy it online. A lot of the people that you can buy it from online, they have like bad harvesting practices, and it's like stripping too much moss out of particular areas. I just need to find a little woods to go on a walk in and get some moss myself. The reason the killer imitated the 2 victims in that movie, I should be able to explain that now. To mix up the killing order?
そうか犯人が2人の死体を映画に見立てたのは殺害順序の誤認をさせるためだったはずだ
The reason the killer imitated 2 of the murders from the movie is so we'd mix up the killing order. Yeah, it's the hammers all over again.
じゃあ実際に西園寺が殺されたのはミオダよりも前ってことか
Then Hiyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
そう考えるのが妥当だろうな。
A valid line of reasoning, especially if you look at the blood on the bottom of Ibuki's shoes. I'm just saying. And not the justice hammers, exactly. I couldn't remember what they were called. I'm like, robo hammers? Like...
妥当だね。ミオダさんの死体の状況もそれを物語ってるしね。
Yeah, it's valid. The condition of Ibuki's body suggests that as well.
あいつの死体の状況がだと。
What do you mean?
泣いて頼まれては仕方ない。そのミオダの死体の状況とやらを聞いてやろうか。
If you're going to cry and beg like that, then I guess I'll hear about the condition of Ibuki's body.
泣いてないけど
I'm not even crying. Hold on, just 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not even crying.
後で好きなだけむせび泣かせてやる。俺様の気が変わらんうちにさっさと話せ。
I'll let you sob as much as you want later. Just hurry up and tell me before I change my mind.
なんつう上から目線だよ。
What a jerk. I hate to tell you this, Kazuichi, but you're all jerks.
そっか、教えてほしいんだね。私の言葉の意味がわからないから教えてほしいんだね。
Oh, I see. You want me to explain it to you, right? Because you don't understand what I'm saying, right? Chiaki, I love you. I love you for not letting that go, for just twisting that knife. Oh, you want me to explain because you're fucking stupid, right? Exactly. Exactly.
さらに上から目線だと。
An even bigger jerk? Impossible.
ほら、ミオダさんって首を吊って死んでたでしょ
Look, Ibuki died because she hanged herself, right?
つまり、彼女の足が地面についてたのは彼女がまだ生きてた時ってことになるよね。
That means that when she was still alive, her feet were touching the floor. Before we... What's wrong with that?
でもね、西園寺さんが殺された時、ミオダさんはまだ立ってたみたいなんだよね。
But it seems Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed.
だから、西園寺さんはミオダさんよりも前に殺されたってことになるんだよ。
That would mean that Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
軽いな。貴様の言葉はシルフの羽のように軽いぞ。
How light. Your words are so light as the sylph's feather.
相手が悪かったな。その程度で俺様を惑わそうなどと肩払いたいわ。
Your opponent is out of your league. It is too absurd to try to perplex me so inadequately.
ああ、めんどくせえモードに入っちまった。
He's being annoying again.
大体西園寺が殺された時、ミオダの足はまだ地面についていたというが。
First and foremost, you claim Ibuki's feet were touching the floor when Hiyoko was killed. How can a low-class creature with no psychic abilities like you know something like that? Rude.
彼女が地面に足がついてないとできないことをしてたからだよ。
Because she was doing something that's only possible if her feet were on the floor. It seems that you suffer from a pathetic delusion. You're one to talk. Anyways, if this continues, we're just gonna talk in circles. I think it's best if we clarify Ibuki's status when Hiyoko was killed. Okay, that's definitely gonna be blood on the soles, right? When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor. I think that's gonna be it. No, that's not an agree, that's a contradiction. Did you see her walking? If her feet were on the floor... There. Possibly this one. Were there any footprints at the crime scene? Maybe her feet were on the floor, but she was like sitting on something? Mark on her ass. Oh, God. Chiaki said Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed, but is that really true? Okay. There we go. I keep forgetting. Just as Sonia said, Ibuki stepped on something. I keep forgetting to tell my friend that I'm slowly ticking into watching anime. First it's Alice in Borderland, and then she started watching Bet. What's that? That's not Blood on the Risers. I think that since last time my group played our first D&D session. Nice! I'm really excited about where I'm taking the story. Are you DMing it? I think she was still standing. Yeah. Shit. I stretched and the controller fell off my lap and I grabbed it and pressed the button. Yeah, that something was blood. There was faint blood stains on the soles of her slippers. And there is blood on the stepladder. That's not Ibuki's blood, right? And she suffered no external injuries. And then it's Hyoko's blood. Hyoko's only wound was a fatal slice on her neck, and she died almost instantly, right? We can see where it is. Let's take a look at the truth bullet. It's on the side, but there's not a lot of blood on her, on her slippers. You could make the argument that as she was walking between where the blood was and the stepladder was, it smeared it and dried it enough that it maybe wouldn't transfer. So first Netflix produced Kakegurui, and then it made the live-action Kakegurui, and then it made the the American high school version of it. Bet interesting. How's that? If Ibuki stepped on her blood, it means Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was mortally wounded. Which means Ibuki was still alive at the exact moment that Hiyoko was killed. Is that it? A shepherd dressed in his Sunday's finest still reeks of lamb, Hajime Hinata. Does that mean that you have a rebuttal? It's painful? Yeah, I'm not surprised. American remakes of anime are not usually the best. Even some Japanese live-action interpretations of anime are not the best. Like, there's a reason why I haven't watched either of the Death Note movies, and that doesn't even fall, like, it's not even the fact that Death Note falls off the rails and turns into shit partway through. Does that mean that you have a rebuttal?
何か反論があるってことか
Does that mean you have a rebuttal?
いいセリフだな
That's a good line.
だがいいのか俺様が本気を出せば世界は滅亡するやもしれんぞ
But are you sure? If I show you how serious I am, this world might be destroyed, you know?
怯えて声も出せんかどうやら格の違いを思い知ったようだな
You're so frightened that you can't even make a sound. It seems like you've realized our difference in status.
だが断罪の時はここからだせいぜい楽しませてくれよ
However, the time for conviction starts now. You better entertain me to the fullest. Okay, time for the sword one. So we have to work really fast here and then figure it out. Smudge on the floor, maybe?
足の裏の血痕が左右にありえんなあの現場をよく思い出してみろ床に血痕はな現場になかった血をじゃあいい悪夢は見れたか
There. Despite this exaggerated protest, I feel like I've already seen an opening to counter. Is this a trap?
の足の裏の血痕がありえんなあの現場をよく思い出し床に血痕はなかったんだ
There. Look at how well we did this time.
そうじゃない床に血痕がなかったのは後で犯人が拭き取ったせいなんだ
That's not it. The reason there was no blood on the floor is because the killer wiped it away afterwards.
ふざけたことを抜かすなそんな根拠などどこにも
Don't say such foolish things. You don't have proof of all of that at all.
あったんだよ
Yes, I do.
よく見るとうっすらとだけどステージ上に血痕を拭いたような跡が残ってたんだ
If you look closely, there's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away. No, it's a tall giant woman now. Gotcha.
犯人が西園寺さんの死体を隠すときに一緒に床の血を拭き取ったんだろうけど
When the killer tried to hide Hyoko's body, they probably cleaned the blood at the same time, but...
その前にミオダさんが踏んじゃってて犯人もそれに気づかなかったんだろうね
Ibuki must have already stepped in it, and the killer probably didn't even realize it.
その床の血を拭いたのも殺害順序の5人のためなんだよな
The reason they wiped the blood off the floor was so we'd mix up the order of the murders, right?
いくら西園寺の死体を隠したところであいつの血痕が残ってたらまずいもんな
Even if they're able to hide Hyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
その時に表に出てるミオダの死体には血が出そうな外傷なんてねえからな
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open, and it wasn't bleeding from any open wounds at all.
きっと西園寺さんの死体をガムテープで巻いたのも彼女の出血を止めるためだったんじゃないかな
Hyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding.
まあ本来は心臓が停止すると出血しなくなるのであそこまでする必要はないと思うんですけどね
Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating, so I don't think they had to go that far.
積木さん以外には馴染み深い知識ではないのでおそらく犯人も知らなかったのでしょう
Aside from Mikan, none of us were aware of the facts, and so the killer probably did not know it either.
もしかしてライブハウスの暖房が効いてたのも積み木の検視をごまかすためか
Maybe the heater was running inside the music venue, so it would screw with Mikan's autopsy.
そうなんですあの暖房のせいで死亡時刻がわからなくなっちゃったんです
That's right. I didn't know the time of death because of the heater.
死亡時刻がモノクマファイルに記載されてなかったのも確実な証拠を俺たちから隠すためと考えれば
If the time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma file, just to keep concrete evidence from us.
これだけの根拠が揃えばもう異論を挟む人はいないよね
Yep, since all we have is this evidence, there's no one else who wants to object, right?
じゃあ決まり西園寺さんはミオダさんよりも前に殺されたんだよ
Then it's decided. Hyoko was killed before Ibuki.
どうやらここは一旦引いた方が賢明のようだ
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now.
いいだろう。善だの悪だのに関係なく、貫き通した信念には偽りなどないのだからな。
Fine then. But regardless of good or evil, there's no deceit in upholding one's convictions.
黙って引き下がれねえのかって。
Can't you just shut up and back off?
それでは議論を再開させましょうか。
Now then, let us resume our debate.
ちょっと待って。その前に、モノクマに確認しておきたいことがあるんだ。
Wait a second. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first. Do you have to, Nagito?
またかよ。前もそんなことなかったか？
Again? Didn't something like this happen last time too?
ねえ、被害者が自殺だった場合って、僕らどうすればいいのかな？
Hey, if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do? Suicide?
同じだよ。いつもと同じように犯人に投票してくれればいいだけ。
Same as always. You have to vote for who the killer is. Yeah.
考え方としては自殺も立派な殺人なのです。自分という大切な存在を殺してしまったわけだからね。
Think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself. And that is consistent with the first game.
残念ながら黒へのお仕置きはなくなっちゃうけど、ま、その時は物見をお仕置きすればいいだけか。
Unfortunately, that means there's no Blackened to punish, but I guess in a pinch I can always punish Monomi.
なんで私が
Why me?
狛枝さん
Nagito, what do you mean if the victim actually committed suicide?
いや、西園寺さんはともかく、ミオダさんは本当に殺されたのかな？
Well, I mean, I understand Hyoko's death, but I'm wondering if Ibuki was really murdered.
例えば、ミオダさんが西園寺さんを殺した後で、自責の念に駆られて自殺したのかもしれないでしょ？
For example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hyoko and then committed suicide due to a guilty conscience, right?
ありえねえだろう。だったら最初から殺してねえって。
I mean, you're getting close. You're getting closer. Ah, yes, there's Peko, and I see the sword bag and sword. Yeah, that is subtle. That's totally impossible. Then she never would have killed herself to begin with.
彼女絶望病にかかってたんだよ。何があっても不思議じゃないと思うんだけどな。
She was afflicted by the despair disease, remember? That means anything can happen.
でも、ミオダさんが犯人だとすると、殺害順序の誤認トリックができなくなるよね。
But if Ibuki's the killer, she wouldn't have been able to falsify the sequence of the murders, right?
日向くんに首吊り死体を目撃させた後で、西園寺さんの死体を出現させたってことは。
After Hajime saw the hanged body, the sudden appearance of Hyoko's body so soon after
犯
means
人はその時点ではまだ生きてないといけないはずだもん。
the killer had to be alive at that time.
じゃあ生きてたんだよ。
Then she was alive.
最初に日向くんが発見した時のミオダさんはただ死んだふりをしてただけで。
When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to be dead. You can't stand the dub voice? I haven't heard any of the dubs, but I do like Nagito's Japanese voice. It is kind of soothing and smooth, you know? Like, it's not what you would expect for like this weird kind of crazy character he is.
日向くんがいなくなったのを見計らった後、再び動き出して偽装工作を行ったのかもよ。
If she waited until Hajime left, then that's when she could have made her move and messed with the crime scene.
首をつってたんだぞ。死んだふりもクソもねえだろ。
She hanged herself, remember? There's no fucking way she could have faked that. Yeah, every hanging that you ever see on a TV show, like a drama, ever, has to be real, right?
それに死んだふりをするならわざわざ首吊りなんて選ばないと思うよ。
And if she was gonna fake her death, I think she wouldn't have chosen hanging.
無防備に吊るされた体を触られたらそれだけで計画が台無しになっちゃうじゃん。
Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
そっか。ということは、
I see. So that means...
あの二人は間違いなく誰かに殺されたんだね。よかった。これで心置きなく犯人探しができるよ。
There's no doubt that someone killed those two. I'm glad. Now I'm free to search for the killer. What the heck?
だけど一つだけ疑問が残るな。
There is still one more issue on my mind. I'll be honest, the only thing better about the English voice actor for Nagito is his laugh, which is amazing. I might have to... After the game, I might have to look up, like, a clip on YouTube or something. I don't want to look it up now because I'll run into more spoilers.
ミオラさんが自殺じゃないとしたら、日向くんが見た映像って何だったのかな?
If Ibuki didn't commit suicide, then just what was that video Hajime saw? Huh?
日向くんが見た映像だと、ミオラさんって自分から脚立を登ってたんでしょ?
According to that video you saw, Ibuki was by herself when she climbed the stepladder, right?
じゃああれも誰かにやらされてたってこと?
Then does that mean someone forced her to do it? There you go.
やらされてたというのはまさか催眠術などを使って
Forced? Perhaps they used hypnotism or something?
そんなの僕にはわからないよ。
I don't know anything about that.
自信満々に言ってんじゃねえよ。
Don't say it all proud.
方法はさておき犯人が何かをしたのは間違いないみたいですし
Putting that aside, it seems obvious that the killer did something.
だったらそれが可能だった人を割り出すのも一つの手なんじゃないかなって思ったり
So maybe we should figure out who was able to do whatever that was?
アリバイですね
So an alibi.
アリバイから崩していく作戦ですね
Then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi.
日向さんが映像を目撃しているわけですから犯行時刻もはっきりしていますしね
Since Hajime has seen the video, it is clear what time the crime took place.
その前に確認なんだけどさあの監視カメラって録画機能とかついてないよね
But just to be sure, that surveillance camera doesn't have a record function, right?
安物の監視カメラだぞ。録画機能なんて立派なもんがついてるわけねえだろ。
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know? There's no way it'd have some kind of sweet recording feature. But you could still record it on something else and put a screen up, so that way it is just recording the screen. That might work.
じゃあ日向さんが見たのは間違いなくリアルタイムの映像なんですね
Then the video Hajime saw was actually live?
日向がその映像を見た時間帯は
What time did Hajime see that video?
俺が病院であの映像を見たのは朝のモノクマアナウンスの直前だったな。
I saw it at the hospital, right before Monokuma's morning announcement.
実際ライブハウスで死体を見つけたのがモノクマアナウンスの少し後だったんだ。
And I saw the body at the music venue a little after Monokuma's announcement.
ミオラさんが首を吊ったのはモノクマアナウンスの直前で、
So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma's announcement.
一方の西園寺さんはミオラさんよりも前に殺されたことがすでに明らかになっているわけだから。
And since we established that Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki,
つまり朝のアナウンスとそれ以前が二人を殺害した犯行時刻になるわけだね。
that means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement.
その付近のアリバイがない人を見つければいいんですよね
Then we just have to find the person who doesn't have an alibi during that time?
ではここに命じますアリバイから崩していく作戦開始します
Now then, I shall issue my decree. Let Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi commence. Okay. Okay. That was what? Sonia, Fuyuhiko. Hyuko was distraught because her kimono was disheveled and she was unable to tie it on her own. That's when Sonia apparently told her that the full-length mirror in the music venue stage. Fuyuhiko met Mikan in front of the hospital. They split up to search for Ibuki. They checked the movie theater and Electric Avenue. They didn't find anyone. I feel like it might be Fuyuhiko. I don't know. I'll do it that way you don't get spoiled. Thank you. Is the other one Mikan? She was with Hajime in the morning. Afterwards, she went to the hospital to check on everyone and realized that Ibuki had disappeared. She rushed her to the hospital to search for Ibuki. She apparently met up with Fuyuhiko. I don't know. We'll have to see. It excludes the sick people like me and Akane. But what about the others? Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room. I think everyone at the motel was doing that. So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi. What about you guys? That's where I was supposed to be, my own cottage. That's not an alibi. Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then Operation Destroy Weakest Alibi has failed. Oh, I don't know. This is tricky. And we can't... Oh, we can save. No, we can't save. Damn it. We have to get through this before we can save it. Did anyone tell you that Fuyuhiko was originally planned to be a victim in this chapter? They replaced him with Hyoko at the last minute. No, I didn't realize. Anyone have any ideas? Sleeping. My own cottage. If nobody has an alibi. Nothing is jumping out at me with this one. I don't feel like any... I guess maybe we could do like Fuyuhiko's and support his. Nope, it's not supporting him with his own statement. We might just have to stop this, like quit, and come back to it, because we saved like 2 minutes ago. Wait, what was that? Before and after the morning announcement. Surveillance monitor video? Does this have anything? I don't think so. I feel like it... Okay, so it has to be either Nikan, Fuyuhiko, or Sonya's account here. None of this makes sense. I don't know which one this is supposed to be. This one is hard. My own cottage. Nobody has an alibi. Me and Akane. Do we just start shooting shit? Because, like, none of these seem to make sense.
俺はちゃんと自分のコテージにいたぞ。
それではアリバイにはならん。
病気で寝込んでいたお二人以外に全員にアリバイがないとなると、アリバイから崩していく作戦は失敗です。
The murder supposedly happened before and during the morning announcement. The person who doesn't have an alibi for that time. You think Sonia's is wrong? I mean, technically a person who doesn't have an alibi for that time would be Hyoko, if Sonia's is correct, because Hyoko ran off to go to the venue. Let's try to look at it through that lens.
僕と尾張さんは除外だよね。
で他の連中はどうなんだ？
朝のアナウンスより前、まだモーテルの部屋で
Sleeping.
モーテルにいたみんながそうだと。
モーテル組は揃って。
そっちはどうなんだ。
俺はちゃんと自分のコ
My
テ
own
ージ。
それで
cottage.
はアリバイには。
病気で寝込んでいたお二人以外に全員にアリバイがないとなると。
病気だった僕と尾張さんは除外だよね。
Not that one either.
しまった。
病気だった僕と尾張さん。
で他の連中はどうなんだ？
朝のアナウンスより前なんて、まだモーテルの部屋で寝てたっつうの。
モーテルにいたみんながそうだと思うよ。
モーテル組は
そっちはどうなんだよ。
俺はちゃんと自分のコテージにいたぞ。
それではアリバイにはならん。
病気で寝込んでいたお二人以外に全員にアリバイが
I
ない。
mean, I've already tried this one. It's not Sonia's bullet on her statement. Oh, Mikan's account on her statement. Okay.
しまった。
Let's try that.
病気だった僕と尾張さんは除外だよね。
で他の
朝のアナウンス、まだモーテルの部屋。
モーテルにいたみんなが
モーテル組は揃ってあり。
そっちはどうなんだ。
俺はちゃんと自分のコテージ。
それではアリバイにはならん。
病気で寝込んでいたお二人全員にアリバイがない。
Really?
それは違うぞ。
I was thinking it might have to do something with Fuyuhiko's statement because he was saying that he was at his cottage, but then we have statements of him running around with people. Hold on, not all of us are missing an alibi.
実は俺と積み木にはアリバイがあるんだよ。
In fact, Mikan and I both have alibis. I still think Mikan did it. Anyways, we're going to save here now that we're able to save.